All right, here we go. Welcome back to Lair Bear's Kitchen. Today we have a couple of things going on. Hopefully you all can see that pretty well. I'm going to be doing just some sauteed rainbow carrots and mushrooms with a creamy pesto sauce today. So we're going to do both of them at the same time. It's not super difficult. This is actually a really simple creamy pesto sauce. So I can make a more complicated one, but for ease, I'm just going to make the simple one today. When we get to summertime and I can get our own fresh basil plants in here to make the homemade pesto, I will be doing that and putting it on video too because I really like my recipe for homemade pesto. So we're going to start with just some heavy cream. Can you see that? Heavy cream. And just put it in a pan, the whole pint, because we love this sauce. So we're going to make sure that there's extra. So you got a whole pint of heavy whipping cream. Okay. And then to the heavy cream, we're just going to let it cook down for a while. But we do want to get this in there as well. And this, if you can see it, is just a pinch of nutmeg. Can you see that in there? Just a pinch of nutmeg. That's just going to go in there real fast. I was told yesterday that I'm not supposed to stir and talk at the same time, so we're just going to make a quick stir just to incorporate that nutmeg just a little bit. It doesn't really matter when you do the stir. I just like to get it in there. I've got the stove turned on to somewhere between medium and medium high because I have an electric stove. Now, the carrots. So I start with organic rainbow carrots. You can see there's a purple one and an orange one, and they still have the stems on. You can, I looked it up online, you can eat the stems, but I'm just going to use a little bit for some color for garnish at the end. So I'm just going to, just a little tiny bit of color right there. And I'll throw it in that bowl out of the way. So what I do here is I just trim the ends off. And then I have my peeler, and we're just going to peel them down. So hopefully this video isn't going to take too long, because I do want to show you the finished product when we get to the end. So that's why I started the pesto sauce first. So love these purple carrots. I personally don't taste a whole lot of difference between the different colors, but I do think they are so pretty. So here you can see how nice purple that is compared to a regular carrot there. So clean up our mess. I should have got a scrap bowl out, as one of my cooking idols always has a bowl for scrap, and it's a great idea. I'm just really bad at that. I tried to get everything set up today so it would be a little more organized than the last one. Hopefully that was successful. You guys can let me know in the comments if you want to, or not. I just hope that you enjoy this video and that I inspire you to cook what you love and just have fun and realize that cooking, like eating, is all about what you love. And for me especially, it's who you love, because I love to cook for people that I care about, and that's pretty much my entire purpose. So there. So here is, I had cut some before I started taping. So here is my whole haul of rainbow carrots. You can see there's white, yellow, orange, purple. I also went ahead and washed and sliced the mushrooms. There we go right there. So this is really going to be a simple saute for this. I'm going to turn that sauce up just a little bit more because I want it to finish. So we all know the rule, right? Hot pan, cold oil. So we're just going to use some olive oil today. Wow, I'm already 4 minutes in. This one's going to be a long one. I'm sorry, guys. So a couple times around just to get a couple tablespoons in there. Now the carrots are going to take the longest to cook, so we want to get them in. So you see, when your oil's nice and hot, or your pan's nice and hot, you put the oil in, it does that funky like dance around the skillet, which is kind of fun to watch. So we've got our carrots in. They are, you can already, hopefully, you can hear them already sizzling a little bit. All right, so I'm gonna put this back here where it was because we have more to see. Again, we're gonna turn this up. We're gonna give it another stir. Do not let your cream or any milk product sit too long on the direct heat without giving it a stir. It will scorch and burn, and scorched milk, that flavor, you'll never get rid of it. Unless, of course, there's something I don't know about getting rid of scorch from milk, but usually in my experience, I've always had to start over. Carrot saute. So to this carrot saute, I'm going to add some salt, some pepper. So carrots are great. They have a high sugar content, so they're always really sweet. So you don't need to add any sweet to it unless you're making candied carrots, which is a whole nother recipe, which I used to like when I was a kid, but now that I've gotten older, the sweet stuff really isn't my go-to anymore. So anyway, we got the carrots cruising along, so we're just gonna let them do their thing. So we're gonna come over, we're checking our sauce here. Give another quick stir. So what we're waiting on for this sauce is just for it to, it's gonna start bubbling, and it's gonna actually, the heavy cream, it's gonna get the water out. The boiling, getting it hot, is going to cause it to steam, and the steam releases the water, thus making the cream and the fat and everything come together. It's going to make this into a really rich, nice sauce. Okay, so carrots are cruising along. Now, we don't like mushy carrots, but you don't want so hard that they don't taste done either, carrots. So we're going to just use the fork. As a poke test, you want to be kind of, have some give, but those are way too hard still, as I figured they would be. So we're just going to let them go along in the heat. I am going to get all of them down onto the heat, because if they're stacked up, obviously, they're not cooking. So we're just kind of in wait mode. So we love this pesto sauce in our house. We have put it on everything from pasta to chicken to vegetables. Amira has even occasionally just used it as a cold vegetable dip because it is so delicious. As you can hear, the carrots, they're starting to release the water. The water then hits the oil and cooks off the sizzle that you hear. And it's a good sound. It's a good, happy kitchen sound for me. All right. So I want these to be about halfway done because the mushrooms cook a lot faster. But they also have a lot of water that they need to get off too, so you can't wait too long to get them in there because then your carrots will be mushy before the mushrooms are done. So you need those mushrooms in there. Now, the thing with mushrooms, and the reason we salted the carrots first, because we want the carrots to get some salt on them. Mushrooms, they also soak up salt real bad, so we're going to add some more salt right there. Now, I know that my very first video, the very first comment that I got was, how do you know how much you're adding when you don't use a measuring thing? I am doing guesstimates for you guys because I cook by sight, by feel, by love, by instinct, whatever you want to call it, okay? Because cooking like this is to taste, right? You want it to taste good for you, for whoever you're cooking for. So here we can see that this is bubbling, and I'll get back to that comment in a second. Here we go, it's bubbling. We're just going to let it thicken up, but we don't want it to stick and burn. So we're going to stir, right? We're just going to watch that real close now that it's going, because we don't want it to over thicken, because then it'll burn, but we don't want to make sure that it does get thick enough to add our pesto sauce, which I love. I love good pesto sauce. And the pesto sauce also is going to be the taste, so you might need to add salt to it. If you make it at home, it's great because you get to add your own salt, so it's all ready to taste before you're going to do anything with it. But yeah, pesto chicken, pesto vegetables, pesto pasta. I love a gnocchi. A fresh gnocchi is with the creamy pesto sauce is about the closest thing to heaven I can imagine. It is just phenomenal. I did find a recipe for gluten-free gnocchi that I have not tried yet, but I want to. I've also found a recipe for a sweet potato gnocchi, which I think sounds amazing, which I will be getting into down the road a bit. So these vegetables are actually cruising along real well. I don't know if you can see them from over there. So we're going to come over here. See, there they go. See how the mushrooms are releasing their water. You've got some juice down there on the side. I hope you can see that. But we're just going to let that go. So those are actually really close to done. And then we can concentrate on our sauce. We're going to, again, use the fork test. Carrots have a little bit more to go, but not a whole lot. The mushrooms still have to release their water. So where I'm going to actually turn that one up just a hair, because we want that water to cook off quickly, so that it doesn't make our vegetables, we don't want the vegetables to simmer, we want them to saute, so we want the water to cook off quickly. Turn it up even higher. And then if we can get some caramelization from those carrots, that would be awesome too, but it's probably not going to happen because of the water from the mushrooms. But we will see. So you can see this sauce now, again, just simmering, bubbling away. It will... and you're going to see it tighten up here in just a minute. And then we're going to add our pesto sauce, and then we will be done. Because as soon as you add that pesto sauce, it literally, you don't have to do much else than that. Just get it to heat, get it to temp, because you don't want to leave it in that danger zone too long. So we're going to get it to that hot temp, and then we're going to pull it off the stove, and then we're going to rapid cool, because I'm not actually using this until dinner time. But we will, I am going to do one little plate for you to show you how pretty this thing's going to be, I think. So, vegetables. Now, can you see in the vegetables where the mushrooms actually are getting smaller? Much, much smaller than what I showed you the first time, because they're releasing their water. Mushrooms have a really high water content. So, that's why I put them in fairly early, because I wanted them to release their water and become the fabulous mushroom that we love in our house. So, because I know what I'm serving this with, I did not add any I didn't add any garlic. Simply because what I made to go with this dish has so much spices and such a strong flavor that I wanted this to be fairly mild and just a great accompaniment dish, and not its own meal. The pesto sauce has lots of garlic in it, and we're going to be putting that on top of the vegetables anyway, so I don't want to overdo it. Remember, you want your flavors to be complementary. You don't want it to be, you're not really making two meals if it's a side dish. You just want one meal and one side, as opposed to two meals on the same plate, which is totally fine. I mean, I've done it where your vegetables are such a big addition that they take on a life of their own. So, so we're going to turn those vegetables off because they're done. That little bite I took was really, really close. So we're just going to let those sit in the heat for just another minute. But I turned them off because I don't want them to really continue to get hotter. So this, let's see if we can get that. There we go. You see that a little bit better now. You can see how it's got that ring around the edge. That's from the water boiling off and actually it losing volume. So it's getting close. I just need it to tighten up a little bit, and then we'll throw that pesto in. And I know I'm not supposed to be stirring and talking at the same time, but it's kind of hard when you have to stir the cream so that it doesn't burn. So you'll know it's done because you'll run your whip through here and it'll actually leave a trail. This is not done yet because there's no trail behind the whip. But when we get there, I'll show you exactly what I mean with that. Yes. So again, this video is really long and I apologize for that. I was trying to getting thicker. I did turn it off while we were gone so it didn't overdo. But you can see this. We want to try to keep it from clumping. So we're going to stir some more. Just need that to thicken up just a little bit. So here's the finished verdict with the vegetables right there. While you were gone, I did get a couple of, maybe a tablespoon of fresh squeezed Persian lime juice on there, just to wake it up a little bit. So remember that your acids they trigger certain taste buds to make everything taste brighter. So it's an acid or a base, I don't know, whatever vinegar is. Because you can add vinegar to soups and sauces, and it makes all the flavors just wake right up. I'm not a scientist, I didn't go to culinary school, so I don't know a lot of the terms that are cool and whatnot, so I believe vinegar is an acid. So, almost got our little things here. Hopefully we can get this done before I run out of storage again. Hopefully. So it will actually, so our pint of cream is actually going to make just about, I don't know, 3.5 to 4 ounces. So a pint is 2 cups, 16 ounces. So it's going to make about 8 ounces. It reduces by about half. And then you add your pesto in, and it makes up about 8 ounces. So maybe a little more than half, and then your pesto. So as you can see, it is starting to thicken. You can see the nice bubbles there in the camera. Cruising along. Alright. We've got some trails coming in behind my... And there we go. So we're going to turn that off because we don't want it to boil over. Burned milk on your burner is always a bad thing too. So we're now going to grab our pesto sauce. Now we're just going to put that right in there. So, this is an organic pesto sauce, and it smelled amazing. So I wish you were here to smell this because I love the smell of pesto sauce. When it gets nice and hot, you get all that basil and garlic and stuff cruising out there. So as we stir it in, you notice it is nice and thick. We're going to get it incorporated with this cream. There, you got the color coming out. And we're now going to put a little more heat on there because we do want it to get up to temperature. So you got that nice green coming through there. Can you see that, I hope? So I'm really sorry that this video is in 2 pieces. I'll show you the finished product. So here is my creamy pesto sauce. It's nice and thick and wonderful. And then my finished vegetables are right over here. There we go. I did top them with about a tablespoon of Persian lime juice and a little bit more salt because I felt that they needed salt. So here is our little sample plate right there. And what I'm going to do is then take a little spoon and grab some the pesto sauce and put it right there on top of the vegetables. And then we're going to go and give a taste to my personal taste tester, who is my wife, who loves my food almost as much as she loves me. So that's awesome. Good luck, good eats, and I'm sorry that this is in 2 parts, and I'm really sorry that I ran out of memory and you didn't get to see the whole thing, but I will do it again in the future. All right, peace.